Before sunrise, a single Longline vessel waits against the pier, preparing for another season of giant stonefish work. In the wheelhouse, charts and handwritten notes mark reef edges where stonefish haunt ledges and rubble slopes. In the wheelhouse, charts and handwritten notes mark reef edges where stonefish haunt ledges and rubble slopes.
Frozen bait blocks stack at the stern, blank rectangles waiting to become thousands of pieces on individual hooks.
Along the rail, tubs of coiled branch lines and bare circle hooks wait in exact rows beside the hauler. Lines come off and mooring ropes fall away, the hull finally freeing itself from concrete and harbor pilings.
Once clear of the pier, engines rise, pushing the bow toward offshore ledges and deep reefs the crew knows well.
In the mess, coffee steams, while a laminated safety plan reminds everyone how unforgiving the gear can be. Offshore, swell grows longer under the hull, a slow rolling rhythm toward drops where rock-like fish hide.
As light fades, knives begin slicing bait blocks into cubes, each destined for a single circle hook in darkness.
At set time, baited hooks start leaving the stern, each one a small gamble dropped toward rough bottom. Beneath the hull, baited hooks sink slowly, vanishing into darker bands over rock and scattered coral heads. On the surface, buoys mark the line's path, a staggered row of plastic domes rolling with the swell.
With the set complete, engines idle and men wait, trusting bait and current to find hidden stonefish below.
In the wheelhouse, soak time and position go into the log, another line of ink among many seasons' worth.
At haulback, the hauler drum begins to turn, mainline tightening as it feels along bottom contours again.
The first buoy comes alongside, foam swirling as it is snagged, unhooked, and passed inward to the stack.
Early branch lines rise clean, bait ragged or missing, quiet evidence that something investigated the hooks without staying on.
Deeper down, a camouflaged mass finally moves, a hooked stonefish lifting from rubble that had perfectly hidden its shape.
At the surface, that weight turns into shape, the first stonefish breaking water beside the hauler with sluggish violence.
Two men work together, one holding leader, the other tail roping, keeping venomous dorsal spines pointed safely away.
The fish lands on a rubber mat, body almost indistinguishable from a chunk of reef, until it flexes.
Another heavy signal travels up the main line, deckhands ready for a second camouflaged weight rising from the bottom.
When the head breaks surface, the stonefish thrashes suddenly, sending sheets of water and spray across boots and rail.
On deck, the second fish joins the first, both arranged with spines outward so no one steps wrong.
Down along the gear, other stonefish hang motionless, bodies mimicking rocks even as they travel upward.
Each arrival repeats the pattern, branch line clipped free, hook checked, and spines kept pointed away from human legs. Close up, the fish's skin shows bumps, pits, and algae-like tufts, camouflage built to disappear completely on broken bottom. Using long-handled pushers, crew slide each fish into shallow pens where ice and seawater will cool them slowly. Between fish, hooks are checked quickly, points inspected so every next bite has the same chance of staying pinned.
As the morning brightens, more buoys pass astern, each stretch of line a new chance at another camouflaged body.
Closer to the bottom, more stonefish ride the hooks, mouths half open as if still waiting for prey to pass.
Each stonefish that arrives is dehooked with tools, never hands, everyone remembering how close the spines sit to fingers.
Soon a row forms along the rail, a slow-growing line of rock-shaped bodies waiting for ice and storage.
One fish comes aboard alive and angry, slamming against the mat so hard that boots hop back from its spines.
After the struggle, the fish slides into ice, its color dulling slightly as cold and stillness take hold.
Haulback settles into rhythm, a mix of empty hooks, chewed baits, and sudden, heavy branch lines that demand attention.
Below, the line glides over small ledges, stonefish lifting from hollows they have occupied for months or years.
The pile in the deck pen grows, each fish adding another careful shuffle for anyone crossing that space.
Around them, sea and sky narrow to deck edges and working gear, the outside world reduced to task and timing.
After hours of hauling, the next branch line comes in, bowed with weight, promising another hidden stonefish from below.
Underwater, a single massive stonefish hangs on the line, its rock-like back brushing past jagged ledges and sand.
On deck, crew muscle the fish onto a scale board, estimating size and weight without ever touching venomous spines.
A close inspection of dorsal spines reminds everyone why speed matters less than control when handling these venomous fish.
Another heavy signal slams the hauler arm, forcing two deckhands to brace together as the loaded branch line grinds inward. Below, a stonefish lunges from rubble, engulfing bait before the circle hook rotates cleanly into the corner of its mouth.
At the rail, the fish arrives twisting and flexing, forcing boots and hands to shift constantly around that blocky head. One sudden kick sends water over the rail, soaking rain gear as a spine passes inches from a deckhand's leg. Slowly, the deck pens fill, every fish positioned head out and spine out, turning the area into a maze of hazards.
Inside the wheelhouse, catch numbers grow in neat pencil columns, each new tally representing another carefully managed risk on deck.
On deck, hoses rinse ice slush and slime between pens, keeping footing secure while preserving the stonefish in chilled piles.
Far below, the last section of gear crosses broken ground, a few remaining baited hooks still drifting close to crevices.
The final buoy comes tight to the stern roller, foam boiling as it is hooked, unshackled, and shoved toward storage.
One last stonefish surfaces heavy and still, its broad head pushing a wedge of water as it flies toward the rail.
With the line finished, crew begin coiling branch lines, stacking tubs, and resetting hooks so the system is ready for another set.
From outside, the vessel now steams homeward, wake streaming straight behind while deck lights glow faintly against the gray sea.
In the wheelhouse, the captain nudges the helm, lining up a homeward course between reefs carefully penciled on paper charts.
Back on deck, someone checks ice depth over the catch, shoveling fresh flakes into gaps so every stonefish stays evenly chilled.
Two crew walk the pen edges slowly, watching for any remaining movement before covering the mound with canvas and more ice.
As evening deepens, only low voices and engine vibration remain, the day's violent moments compressed into quiet piles of camouflaged bodies.
In the bunkroom, wet gear hangs from hooks while exhausted deckhands sleep, leaving only the engine's constant rumble for company.
On deck, a lone watchman walks past the pens, headlamp beams skimming over ice-crusted backs and safely covered dorsal spines.
By dawn, the bow lifts through gentler swells, hull sliding steadily toward coastline while the stonefish catch rests below in ice.
In the galley, coffee mugs rattle softly as crew review aches, near misses, and the slow confidence of a solid trip. A mid-morning deck check confirms ice coverage, each stonefish still firm, colors muted but patterns of rock-like camouflage clearly preserved. Below deck, chilled holds receive the catch, stonefish sliding into bins where low fog of cold air hangs above stacked ice.
Back topside, slings and spreader bars are laid out at the rail, ready for dockside cranes to lift full bins later.
Far ahead, coastlines appear as faint shapes through haze, destination reduced on deck to offload plans and turnaround timing calculations.
In the wheelhouse, the captain radios arrival information, sharing draft, estimated tonnage, and request for berth space beside the process of wharf.
On deck, gangway sections, extra fenders, and new mooring lines are staged. Each piece another step in the return choreography.
From the bow, the harbor entrance grows larger, breakwaters and channel markers sliding past as speed drops and rudder movements become finer. On deck, hoses and brushes clear remaining scale and slime from working areas, leaving equipment sharp, orderly, and ready for inspection. In the logbook, soak times, positions, and haul notes join new lines describing venom hazards and deck procedures refine this trip.
A quick safety meeting reviews upcoming offload, reminding everyone that tired legs and venomous spines mix poorly on crowded dock edges.
Tarps are stretched over the pens,
Edges lash tight so even heavy wake or tugboat wash cannot shift fish or ice. From the bridge wings, the skipper studies pier faces and ladders, choosing a berth where cranes and forklifts can work most efficiently. At the bow, mooring lines are flaked carefully, ready to run as soon as the first heaving line whistles in from shore.
Stern thrusters push sideways, bringing steel inches from concrete while crew watch fenders, hands braced but never placed between hull and pier.
A heaving line arcs across the gap, caught by dock workers who pull heavy mooring ropes steadily toward bollards on the quay.
With lines fast, engines fall to idle and gangway preparations begin, marking the moment sea work gives way to dockside labor.
Dockside cranes stand ready as the vessel eases alongside, turning offshore venom into a tightly managed industrial delivery.
Hatch covers swing aside, releasing a low breath of cold air that carries the faint scent of stonefish and ice.
Below, forklifts position stainless bins while crew roll open hold doors, revealing rock-like bodies stacked in precise icy layers. Each bin is rigged carefully, slings clipped to lifting lugs while workers keep gloved hands clear of sharp sheet metal edges.
The crane lifts steadily, bringing frozen venom up and out of the hull, swinging it carefully toward the waiting concrete apron.
Forklifts nose forward, forks sliding under each landed bin before carrying stonefish quickly toward the cold receiving doors. At the plant entrance, chilled air spills out as rolling doors open, and the first delivery of stonefish crosses the threshold.
Dockside, paperwork catches up, trip numbers turning into forms signed, stamped, and carried into the factory's quiet office corridors. Loaded trucks ease away from the pier, refrigerated units humming as they carry venomous-looking fish safely sealed behind metal walls.
With offload finished, the Longline vessel sits lighter, gangway rattling as crew turn their attention to maintenance and next trip planning. Inside the plant, bins line up under bright lights, stonefish backs still looking like rocks even in spotless white-tiled rooms.
At the first station, high-pressure water rinses each fish, knocking loose ice and sand before knives ever touch the skin.
Next, trained hands carefully remove venomous dorsal spines, cutting shallow grooves along the back while keeping fillet meat untouched.
Once spines are removed, bodies are split neatly, knife strokes staying shallow to free fillets while avoiding rupturing inner organs. Fillets slide down to trimming tables, where smaller knives chase away skin, dark tissue, and any remaining traces of spine channels.
Calibrated guides help cut portions into uniform loins and steaks, turning irregular reef predators into predictable boxes of protein.
Each piece passes through a quick visual check, eyes scanning color, texture, and trim for any sign of damage or missed hazard. Vacuum machines draw bags tight around each cut, sealing moisture in and eliminating any trapped air before freezing. Labeled cartons fill as workers stack frozen-ready packs, building columns that will soon slide into sub-zero storage rooms.
Pallets roll into blast freezers, doors closing against a rush of frost while timers begin counting down to rock-hard storage.
Later, forklifts retrieve rock-solid cartons into a high-ceilinged cold store, building tidy rows of inventory along numbered aisles. Dock-high doors open to waiting refrigerated trucks, each pallet wrapped and strapped before rolling across the short gap of concrete. In a city kitchen, still frozen packs arrive in simple cartons, stonefish portions thawed slowly under controlled, refrigerated conditions.
On the cutting board, thawed fillets are portioned again, edges squared and thickness matched to ensure even cooking. Seasoning stays simple, letting mild flesh carry the story while aromatic herbs and oil form a thin, protective crust in the pan. Another pan holds bones and trim, simmering slowly into a clear broth that will later glaze plates and deepen flavor.
Garnishes are prepared in the same careful rhythm, measured knife cuts echoing the precision once reserved for removing spines at sea.
Finished fillets rest briefly on warm trays, juices settling while plates wait in a quiet line at the pass.
Sauce and garnish finish the picture, turning once dangerous reef ambush predators into calm compositions on simple ceramic surfaces. In the dining room, dishes leave the pass in quiet sequence, carried toward tables where guests watch them approach with curiosity.
At one table, conversation slows as diners taste carefully, testing texture and flavor against expectations raised by the dish's reputation.
Reactions stay quiet but positive,
nods, and short comments, replacing the more dramatic moments once seen at the rail offshore.
The camera lingers on a single plate, showing how careful trimming left only clean flesh, sauce, and garnish for the final bite.
When plates clear, only faint traces of sauce remain, the danger once concentrated in dorsal spines now diffused into memory.
Outside, night settles over the harbor, where the Longline vessel rests quietly, decks washed and gear coiled after its venom-hauling run.
Wheelhouse windows glow faintly, charts and pencils still laid out as the skipper thinks through weather, quotas, and the next destination.
In the factory, cleaned equipment stands ready, steel tables and conveyors reflecting overhead lights with not a single fish in sight.
Freezers hum behind closed doors, their steady vibration holding thousands of quiet portions in suspended, motionless rows.
Out on the reef, currents still move over crevices where other stonefish wait unseen, invisible, until hunger or hooks draw them out.
Between port, plant, and plate, the line from hidden reef predator to quiet evening meal